Thank you, Honorable Speaker, for giving me opportunity to also contribute to this bill. I want to make it clear that I support the bill. Honorable Speaker, we are famously known as the children who grew up under Nyayo. And I remember he used to tell us that when you cut one tree, you plant two. That was one of his rallying calls. I don't know why Senator Haji has proposed in this particular amendment under Section 4 that instead of what Nyayo used to tell us, that you cut one, plant two, he's saying when you cut one, you plant one. Honorable Haji, as a person who I know you also grew up during that era, we should at least encourage that there has to be growth from that position of Moi, and even adopt the position that has been given by Senator Mariam, where if you cut one, you plant three. Honorable Speaker, as the Senator for Nairobi, many Nairobians believe that in 2004 we had one of the best town clerks by the name John Gakuo, and he's credited for providing a clean environment for the people of Nairobi. He sorted out the garbage menace at that particular point in time. He is famously known for dreaming of a city in a forest. And in an interview just a few months before he passed away, he said that his one biggest regret was that he was not able to achieve that dream. I remember, Honorable Speaker, many people can still remember how Mombasa Road all the way through to Uhuru Highway used to look. It was a boulevard with very nice mature trees in the median and also on the side of the road. But, Honorable Speaker, subsequent developments have come, including the construction of the expressway, that have ensured that all those trees that used to be in those places were cut down. And we, as a leadership of Nairobi, of course, are extremely concerned with the state of the environment in the city. Some of the issues that have been brought up by Senator Mungatana, including the continued closure or barring of residents from accessing Uhuru Gardens and Central Park, which is part of Uhuru Park. Honorable Speaker, in April of 2024, the Cabinet Secretary for Defense, the Honorable Aden Duale, appeared before plenary of this House, and he committed to this House that he was going to hand back both of those parks, both Uhuru Park, Central Park, and even Uhuru Gardens, back to the people of Nairobi. The situation that has been described by Senator Mungatana is something I can attest to. If you go to Langata Road on a Saturday, when ordinarily many people do their laundry or household chores, you will find many of those women who do those chores have nowhere to sit. They sit along the road, and it is quite an unsightly thing to see, not to mention the lack of facilities for the people of Nairobi to relax. Honorable Speaker, therefore, we must continue to call on the Ministry of Defense, because these two parks were taken over by the Ministry of Defense in February of 2022, and they are being renovated by the military. And the CS himself committed here, and you heard him say that, in fact, he was going to do it the next day, which was the 18th of April in 2024. We are almost coming to a year since that pronouncement by the CS, and that situation is unacceptable. Honorable Speaker, there was another baffling piece of news that I saw this week. The President telling us that they had planted 750 million trees over a period of 12 months in 2024. For many of us, the math was not mathing, as they say in the streets, because that would translate to 2 million trees per day. Honorable Speaker, 2 million trees per day being planted, this is not something you can hide. And we are hoping that these figures can be backed up. I hope that those who are participating in that tree planting, I can hear Senator Cherargei confirming that he planted 2 million trees a day, at least in Nandi. Let him show us where those trees have been planted. Honorable Speaker, we even went ahead and created a holiday for tree planting in this country, but the incentives are not there. And there's a very serious lack of transparency, Honorable Speaker, even surrounding the question of where these seedlings are being procured. Some of us might not look like we know much about tree planting, but Honorable Speaker, if I share with you my life history, in 2010, I was working for a billboard company here in Nairobi. And part of my duty was, in fact, because as Gakuo had said, the biggest enemy of trees in Nairobi were the people who were running the billboard business. And the company that I used to work for decided that they were going to take initiative in making sure that if there is any tree that is affected because of a billboard going up, we would plant at least 100 seedlings to replace that one tree. And Honorable Speaker, because I was the head of administration then, it fell to me to be the one in charge of that program. Believe it or not, In my suit as a lawyer, as an advocate, I used to know all the suppliers of tree seedlings in Nairobi from the Kenya Forest Service there. They had a nursery on Kiambu Road, all the way to the people who sell trees on Ngong Road. All those people were my friends. I used to have suppliers of manure and red soil in Wangige, who I knew by name. And we used to do tree planting sponsored by that company, Honorable Speaker. But you can see that because we have let go of the rules of the city, there is a serious proliferation of even the billboards in Nairobi, and nobody does that tree planting anymore. Honorable Speaker, we want that this particular amendment to the law, we hope will bring about some sanity and make sure that we return the city to the dream that Honorable John Gakuo had, even if in the end he met with a very ignominious end. Honorable Speaker, therefore, I want to be on record supporting this amendment. And Honorable Speaker, we want to urge again on behalf of the people of Nairobi that we must return this city to the people. And those facilities that were taken over by the military, it is now long overdue. We don't have to summon the CS for Defense to this house again for him to again make promises. We just want that the people of Nairobi have access to Central Park, Uhuru Park, and Uhuru Gardens. Lastly, Honorable Speaker, I have made it clear that I have a problem with the way this government communicates. We were all shocked a few months ago when we started seeing videos on social media of tree cutting that was allegedly going on in, what is it called, Karura Forest. Honorable Speaker, we were all alarmed, only for the Kenya Forest Service to follow after the outrage. They follow up with a communication claiming that they were harvesting mature trees. Really, if the government or the Kenya Forest Service intends to harvest trees in any of our forested areas in Nairobi, they need to be able to communicate to us that this is what is going to happen. Not to wait for social media outrage, then they follow up with a communication that it is harvesting of mature trees that is going on. And they have not told us about any of the plans to replace that deforestation that happened. We were also very alarmed. One day we just wake up, Honorable Speaker, and when you're driving on the Southern Bypass, you find a whole section of the forest there cleared, and nobody gives any explanation. Then you hear, oh, there is somebody who's building a golf resort. Why are these things done in the manner in which they are done? If the government intends to run such a program, Honorable Speaker, I want them to change the way they communicate with the public. Make it clear that in the next 6 months, we want to undertake such and such a program, and that this is going to be the environmental effect for the people of Nairobi to know that this is a project that is being undertaken by government and not by people who are unscrupulous business people. So with those many remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.